Hello and welcome. On the left side, the photograph I took of a piece of acrylic and my iPhone on the table has been reproduced in 3dsmax to see if it really works the way it should work. The only difference, or the biggest difference, is the reflection on the table here, that on this other picture on the 3dsmax is kind of very weak. So you might have to do with more work there. So before I do the material, I just want to set up a small room. If you want to stop this anytime to copy the setup, so that in the end you will end up with the same image that I have here. Otherwise, you can jump ahead to where at the minute 3.40 is where I start making the actual material. So acrylic is like plastic, is not like glass. Glass has a different material density than acrylic. Acrylic is made of chains of strands, like little, these are polymers, like flexible things, and glass is made of crystals of sand, and so that makes it very fragile and breakable. So you need to have a room with enclosed room with walls and ceilings and floors. I'm adding a fluorescent Vray light. The Vray light I had here from previous jobs. This is a 1 foot by 4 feet. And I'm reproducing similar to what I have in the room here. I'm using a 35mm camera, and I'm just trying to make this look like the photograph. So I need put a few more things here. I will add an iPhone, just like the one I have, because I want to see the effect of the refraction through the acrylic. So a simple drawing will do. I'm using some guidelines, and I think this just needs the top, subdivided top, so that it has the white and the black area. You can always skip to 3.40 minutes to see straight onto the material. But if you want to copy something, you're going to do something like this room, you can copy some of these settings. So, all right, very quickly, this is not an accurate drawing, but it's pretty close. It just helps with the visualizing of what's going on here. This will probably work. So a few materials. I think I have an iPhone that has the gold side and the backing. So we'll put a little frosted and then a shiny gold in this area. And for the top, it just needs to have a black and white area. So I'll deselect this and I'll apply white to this area, and I'll Control I to select the other part, put a shiny black in the center, and we can try this now. So that's pretty good. Now let's get started with the acrylic. So you have to have a piece of block or anything to test this. First, open a Vray material, double click on it, make the diffuse color almost white. It's about 240 on my settings. For the BRDF, use blend. Refraction has to be almost white, and I'm using the same 240. All right. This area is the reflection glossiness is almost 1. You can go to 1, but almost 1 is much better, which means 0.99, 0.97. The IOR is very important, so let's make it 1.49. You see, glass is 1.50, which is a little difference. That's it for that. Now, for the reflection, we're going to be using a fall-off map. So place one over here, double click on it, open it, and in this area, leave everything as it is. Close mix curve open the Output tab, enable Color Map, select Mono, and add a point. Right-click on it, select Bezier Smooth. Then with the Move tool, you can move the curve handles to straighten them up like this. Select the point in the middle where the arrow is pointing and change these values. The second one is 0.24 or 0.25. Now we'll connect the map to the Reflect Map tab of your material. You can see the reflection already has the map. This is a good time to save your material if it's if it's final and you like it. I'm going to make a duplicate of this. So one of these are going to be frosted. So this one we're going to make it a frosted type acrylic. All you have to make is these changes to the glossiness in both areas here, and the reflection and the refraction. Leave everything else as it is. Now we need to make this edge a little bit rough, so I'm going to add a noise map. With a noise map, if you tile, or you may even have to change the angle. You play with these numbers, you will end up with scratches like. So copy these values and we'll see what it looks like. Attach this to the bump map. Now open the maps area and lower the value of the bump. You can play with these to see the effect of your scratches on the side anyway. Alright. In edit mode, select these faces of the block. You can apply the frosted or the rough material to the sides. Okay. Then if you press Ctrl I, you will be selecting the unselected faces, and on these faces we can apply the shiny acrylic. Alright, so I also corrected my the placement of these items and the camera settings, so it will look more like the photograph I took, so we can see the comparison. So here's the render, and it looks pretty good, and it's also very similar, I'll tell you. So the missing light reflecting here can probably be corrected with caustics. I think that belongs to another tutorial, but you can play with these values and see what you come up with. But this looks very acceptable. Yeah, it's pretty good. So that's it for the material. You can always make variations as you need it. Here's the original photograph with the one light, and here's the 3dsmax with Vray acrylic. Notice the refraction is exactly the same. That is very good. And the transparency and the reflections are very good too. Except, like I said, for that little light at the bottom. So thanks for watching and see you soon. Here are some examples.